What's going on, guys? Noah Sanford here, hanging out on my Ranger right now. It's actually Wednesday, even though this is the Thursday fishing report. The reason I'm filming it right now is because I'm getting ready to go out Wednesday afternoon. I'm posting this video on Thursday, though, probably when most of you guys are watching. The reason I'm not filming on Thursday is because tomorrow, Thursday, when you're watching this, it's probably actively raining right now. It's probably really windy and really nasty. The weather for tomorrow looks really gross, so actually going out right now on Wednesday to kind of fish some of these post cold front conditions. We're going to get a little bit more into that in this upcoming video today out on the water. But for the fishing report, guys, Friday looks pretty good wind-wise. You are going to have some wind in that afternoon, so maybe be careful, stick to the morning. But Friday is also going to have those post front conditions, okay? So Thursday, things are really going to cool down. Friday, you might get some wind. Saturday, Sunday look all right, though. Going into the water temps, this week I've been seeing mid to low 50s again, so between kind of 53, 54 and a half. Now, since we got this cold front rolling in, that water temp is probably going to start dropping. So reason for that is because it's going to start raining, that wind's going to blow, nighttime and daytime temperatures are going to drop significantly. And so that water is probably going to stay in the like 52, 53 and a half range for those of you guys going out this weekend. So enough of the weather and wind. Let's get into what I've been catching these fish on. So guys, the pattern has stayed really consistent for your typical wintertime bass fishing bite, whether you're on Lake Mead or whether you're on the other side of the country here. It really is pretty consistent right now. So most of my bites have been coming on those slower finesse baits or those bigger bottom baits. So talking something like a big jig or a small drop shot Ned rig, that kind of stuff. Those baits have really probably been getting 75 to 80% of my bites. I have had a few one-off bites here and there on something like a drop shot with maybe a minnow presentation or a Ned rig with a little bit different presentation. But for the most part, guys, stick to your core tackle this time. This weekend, that would be my recommendation. Stick to those bigger jigs, smaller jigs, finesse baits, Ned rigs, drop shots, all that kind of stuff has been what's getting the majority of my bites. I also apologize for you guys watching right now. I think this is the only video I'm putting out this week so far. There should be a few more, but I've been completely slammed with guide trips this last week, guys. I've hardly had a day off and I haven't really had time to film anything. So that's the reason for the lack of uploads, but I appreciate you guys sticking with it and staying tuned. So enough of what I caught these fish on. Let's talk about where. So most of the fish I've been catching have been either on like a main lake point. So you're driving down the middle of that lake and you see those one-off points here and there on the left or right side, something like that, and something with a lot of rock, okay? So main lake point is kind of sort of important, but really the biggest thing is rock, guys, especially going into this weekend with these frontal conditions, these cold conditions. That rock is going to be super important. It's going to provide a natural heat source for these bass. And if any of you guys have fished before or during and after a cold front, you'll know that those fish tend to go to those deeper areas and they like to hug those areas with warmth. And so Lake Mead, there's a ton of natural rock and hard bottom that's going to provide that kind of warmth for these bass. So make sure when you're going out this weekend to stick to those rocky areas that look like they're going to probably provide some heat. You might get lucky and find a few cruising up shallow, but for the most part, you're probably going to be sticking to that 20, 30 foot depth range. That's what's been most effective for me. Like I said though, guys, you guys always hear me saying this time of year. Go out there, and just because something has or hasn't worked for me doesn't mean it won't or will work for you. So just really go out there, try all the different conditions, okay? Try your different stuff throughout the lake, points, coves, offshore, inshore, that kind of stuff, and try all your different baits, okay? Just because I've been hammering the finesse baits on the bottom doesn't mean that something else isn't gonna work. So go ahead and just get out there, guys. Let me know in the comments how you do this weekend. Appreciate you guys always watching. My name's Noah Sanford. We'll see you guys out on the water.